Pizza podcast.
A PP. Personal Pizza Podcast.
On the JTP.
We had a bar in Guelph. Well, I shouldn't talk about my past. No, nothing. Didn't hear that?
You went to a bar?
In Guelph? And I was like, I shouldn't talk about my past.
Nikki, we're good to go? All right. Alto, we're going to be eating pizza.
We're eating pizza.
We're going to try 4. I know there's might be a 5th one coming that Luker might be bringing. We're going to try 4 different pizzas.
I'm happy.
But we're also going to talk market stats.
Well, that makes me happy too, because there's some great things going on in the market, but the pizza makes me happier.
Pizza sauce on.
I think that was probably you.
That was. Chances are it was me because that's how I
honestly,
roll.
I think when we're all said and done, you're going to have pizza on that sweater and I'll be clean. At one
point I probably will, but I'm glad that you have a white t-shirt on.
I'm a clean pizza
because the listeners are not going to see, but the viewers will, to see if you are a clean pizza eater. So this is starting to become a tradition here now, where every month when the market stats come out, what we're going to do...
because market stats are so exciting.
Well, look, our viewers and our listeners, the viewers ask for market stats all the time. I want to make sure that we're the ones who are at the front of them.
But we're like making it a little bit more fun.
Exactly. Hence why I said these come out once a month. Okay, so for all the greater Toronto area, but we actually go specific, and we're going to go specific and regional in terms of Durham and Peel, North York, which is really still Toronto, and then we're going to go deep into Peel. We're going to go into Mississauga. We're also going to speak about Brampton. But every month we're going to switch it up. Last month, make sure if you guys are watching, go back to, I think it would be 4 episodes again. Do you guys remember, Stephen, Nikki, what the name of that episode was? I forget. The one, the hot sauce one. It was a market update. It was a market update with featuring hot.
Oh yeah, it was right after the Super Bowl.
So if you're in the playlist, if you're listening, then you can just scroll down.
I'm surprised you want people to head back to that one, because I kind of schooled you in the hot sauce eating competition.
That's what the viewers and the listeners are going to decide, because I still, I don't know how you thought you won that.
I won because I didn't try. Hang on. And I didn't drink 4 glasses of water.
But the competition was to see if we could finish it.
Yeah, well, you finished, but I finished better.
But today, I don't know. We'll think. Let's see what the viewers.
I'm not competitive. Not at all.
Yeah. Were you competitive, like even back in as a kid?
Pretty much with everything. Everything I wanted to win. It didn't matter how big, how little.
It just didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
If you were just. Did you play? Because you have an older brother.
Yes.
Did you play like hockey or sports or anything with your brother's
Everything
friends?
with him.
What's the age difference?
2 years, which when you're kids, 2 years is pretty big difference. Plus I'm a girl and he was a boy, so he had that gender advantage as well. So I always got my ass kicked in a lot of things.
Is that where the competitiveness came from, you think?
Probably. Yeah. And because I think what would happen was he would get his butt kicked at school by like the other guys in his grade. And he was like, who I can beat? My sister.
Yeah. Now, between your parents, mother or father, both competitive, not competitive, one over the other?
My dad's definitely more the athletic one. Like my mom doesn't care about sports. She claims she doesn't like watching sports. She has no interest in it. Yeah. But when I was ski racing, I could tell when I would win, she was standing a little taller, like that's my kid, I think she's got a competitive streak.
So obviously when you were skiing though, that was a massive help to you though. Like you were racing, you were doing this competitive.
Yes. And so ski racing, for anyone who knows anything about it, size matters because it's a gravity sport. And I did not have that advantage. Right. So I just figured.
It's so funny because I always thought, and I remember you telling me this, because you were shorter, I thought it was actually going to be an advantage.
That's how little you know about skiing.
100%. Right? I went skiing once. I almost smashed into a tree, just like a cartoon, like legs on one leg on each side.
Oh yeah, right through the thing.
Luckily, I turned and I kind of just hit my ass on the tree, but no, I haven't been skiing ever since.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah. So you were saying, I thought that it does help being
because obviously the name of the game is speed. So when you have gravity and that helping you plus muscle mass and size, that just helped. That just gave you a natural advantage. Now, this was competitive skiing, but it wasn't like we're not talking about the Olympics,
Mhm.
but I definitely had to, I feel, work harder just to overcome that substantial weakness, or what I thought was a weakness at the time.
Well, let's see how hard you're going to work to scarf down these pizzas, because
I
today's
can out eat you
competition
too, I'm
is to
sure.
see who can eat the pizzas the fastest.
No,
That's
no,
not what we're doing
no.
today. Okay.
No, we're just, so
So
what we're
tell the
doing
viewers,
here.
listeners, what are we doing?
Okay, so last week, Jazz and I posted on our socials. We asked people to let us know their favorite pizza places in Toronto. We were going to go out and, oh, thanks for listening to my story.
I'm listening. I pressed the button there.
As the guy goes on his phone.
Well, I was thinking about who actually replied back to the
Yeah,
stories.
well, I mean, I had a lot of people reply back.
I want to make sure that you gave all the shout outs. Yeah.
And I had friends saying, you got to try this place, and a lot of these places I've actually tried because I love pizza. I eat pizza once a week.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite foods next to burgers. And so a lot of these I have tried before, but we wanted to try and get as many that people requested.
There's actually a couple I haven't. Yeah.
Unfortunately, because of COVID though.
Yeah.
A lot of these places were closed permanently, or like they had different hours, and they couldn't help us out today. So,
well, shout out to the 4 pizza shops that were open. And I mean, if you're listening and I had to close not only a pizza shop but any business, I mean, our hearts go out to you. I hope that you're thinking and considering about rebounding, and if there's anything that we could do, and I'm truly speaking from not only Jazz's perspective, but I know I'm speaking on Laura's behalf and Steven's behalf and Simos's behalf, my business partner. Like, whatever we can do, like, reach out. Might not be able to get get the business back up and running again, but maybe there is something that we can do in terms of maybe introduce you to the right person. There might be a fit here. Who knows? You know what I mean? Just
never
reach
know.
out. If you don't reach out, you'll never know. We'll never know. But to the four pizza places that are open, I mean, big shout out, right? And I hope if you're watching or listening and you're in the greater Toronto area, I think, Laura, you're going to tell people where these pizzas are from and where they can get them from. Go support a local business. We're still not completely, at the time of this recording, March, what do we have today? 10th, I think, or at the time
9th,
of this
maybe?
recording, March 9th at the time of this recording. We're still now going into
the gray zone,
whatever that means.
We don't know what that means.
Whatever that means. And we're going to actually talk about today. We're actually going to talk about what our last almost 365 days were like, right? We're not going to go day by day by any means, but just kind of give you an idea, because I have a feeling a lot of your stories are similar. So leave us a comment. Let us know how you got through the pandemic. Business owner, not business owner. We're then going to go through all the most current stats in the greater Toronto area, but we're going to try a lot of pizza.
I got to get going because I'm dying here.
Okay, you're hungry. Go.
I'm hungry and I'm hangry, and we got to get
getting angry. I can tell. I can tell. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one, Mager's Pizza. I've had this one before. Yeah. Avenue and Lawrence. Okay. Owned by Schlump Butchler.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm butchering the name. I think he used to work at FBI Pizza. Okay. Plus Matty Matheson. This guy is very well known on the Vice Network. He's star of Parts and Labor. Big foodie guy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
is that the gentleman that you were showing me earlier today?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
He's been all over.
He's all over. He's on like all different
Jimmy
shows.
Kimmel,
yeah.
And he was on
late night shows.
He was on Hot Ones.
Hot Ones as well.
You were talking about. Okay, awesome. And so, but where is he from?
This guy is from Halifax, I believe, or out east.
Yeah.
And these are all his pizzas.
Got it.
He's not the chef, but like they're his designs.
So what are we going to do at the end of it? I just kind of,
what's
your thought process?
As you guys can see, if you're watching, they're all different. So we're not on a level playing field. We didn't go all margarita. I said, let's just get like the typical pizza from the place that we're getting it. And I think you and I are just going to determine which pizza we like best.
Perfect. Love it. So you want to start over on the other side there? So we're going to try Maker's Pizza, which is a pepperoni pizza.
You got yours there.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right.
Just pepperoni. This one. Yeah.
That is delicious.
I mean, a basic pepperoni pizza. What's not to like? And I like that the pepperoni is little. But everywhere.
And grilled. Like really crispy. Sorry, not grilled. Crispy.
Yeah, this is good pizza.
It's almost like they put it through the oven twice.
Plus, it was massive. Like if you have a big family, this is what you get.
The whole team is out there. Big shout out to Luke Leasing, who ran around and picked up the pizza, but he didn't do it on his own. You did it with our new team member, Carolina, aka
Row.
Ro, who just joined our team yesterday. Just joined our
Yeah.
team yesterday. Big shout out to Ro. Big shout out to Luker. They went around the city and picked up all this pizza. Very, very excited for Ro, who just joined our team. She's just a little fireball. Been with us for only a couple of days, but if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, people who fit our culture in her own way. She's a misfit, just like all of us, because you guys know that we're a bunch of misfits and we're so proud to have
She's
her.
probably insulted right now, but we're saying that as a good thing. Being a misfit's a good thing.
It's a good thing around here because that's exactly how we always speak about it, right? If you're listening right now, you're a business owner, you're a salesperson, you're somebody who's even a real estate investor. Even as a real estate investor, you need a team. You need a real estate all-star team, right? We talk about it all the time. Mortgage brokers, real estate lawyers, home inspectors, real estate agents, a buyer agent, a savvy investor agent. You want to make sure you partner up with somebody and you want to make sure that the people on your team, you're connected with them. There's something that you like about each other. Why? Because this is going to be a long process. I mean, you're not just buying one property as an investor, you're planning out to scale out. And how does that happen? If the team is all on the same page. And so we don't think about it any different. It's why, like, we talk a lot about sports, and I'm starting to already get my sweater messy here. No sauce yet on it for the listeners.
Not yet.
Why, like, our team here, it's so important that as a leader, as a leader, that you're really spending time figuring out what your team members want and try to reverse engineer.
Yeah, we were talking about this today with someone who came by the office just to kind of talk about teams and leadership. And they said, Jazz, you're always so accessible. Like, I understand that this quick conversation I just stopped by to say hi took half an hour, and that's half an hour away from you being able to sell something or for you going home early, whatever it is. And, I always say about you and about the team here really is that, look, you got to take the time up front to build that culture and to take time with the people who work for you. It can't just be about business. And luckily for me, I prefer it to be about anything but business most of the time. And so, that's how you're really going to connect with people. So if you're thinking about leading a team or you're starting to lead a team, you got to give considerable effort and time to the people who work with you, because it's not their business, right? It's your business. And no one's going to care more than you. But how are you going to get them to care and buy in? Is by you caring about them.
Well, yeah, and as a leader, it's quite audacious for you to think that the people on your team are gonna care as much, right? Like Nikki, as somebody who's been on our team now for coming up to, I think we counted a couple of days ago, 7 months now. Feels like he's been around with us for a long time. Another misfit in his own way. We were talking, like, for me to think that he's going to care as much, like, you hear leaders talk about this all the time.
They just don't care.
No, they don't care as much.
Yeah.
Why the F isn't Elto around more? What? Pay her like you get paid, and watch her care. You know what I mean? Like, Steven should be doing more of this and he should be doing more of this. Pay him just like you get paid, Jazz. Like, and so for you, if you're watching right now as a leader, you can't expect the people that work with you to care as much. Excuse me. Now, if you get lucky and you get a crew that is bought in, then hold on to them with dear life. And how do you do that? You do that by trying to reverse engineer stuff. We laugh all the time. We talk about, Alto, your food. You love eating food. But I also know Rochester, like Steven, likes to have a drink here and there.
Yeah.
And so I stock up beers. Like Steven, there's always beers. There's always wine. There's always a little liquor bottle, a couple of liquor. Well, okay, there's more than a couple of liquor
likes candy, so we're gonna have candy around.
100%. When Dre's around here, Nikki, you like, we're starting to kind of get to know what is his little like, does he like candy? Does he want a burger? Like, whatever it is, and it's not just food, but it's also understanding that they have a life outside this place. But you were gonna say something, but you cut me off. But go.
No, I forgot. That's what happened.
Okay, no worries. We're gonna. I'm sure you'll remember.
I'm still got pizza brain.
We're gonna jump around. Let's we're gonna jump around to the pizzas. Let's start off with GTA. I think it's very important. Okay, let's start with the GTA market stats. This is the macro area of the Greater Toronto area. For anyone outside the GTA, outside the province, outside the country. If you don't know, for our friends in the States, this is a 50-mile radius. Obviously, here in Canada, it's about approximately 75 kilometers. That's kind of the radius that the GTA is in. Now, be very, very careful when you're about to hear some of these numbers, because if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing, you always want to look at your micro market. And not just like if you're thinking about buying in
Toronto or whatever,
Toronto or
Brampton. Yeah, it's
Brampton.
like the neighborhood within those can be doing completely different things. Right where we are here, Toronto, a couple streets away from me, the last
Are you
couple
going to
months.
tell people that you're 7 streets away from Drake or something like that again?
Yeah, because they've never heard that from me before. Just 7 streets away from Drake, no big deal. Wrong side of the tracks, but whatever. Nothing was selling for the last year. Like, there's been houses that went up, they came down, price adjustments, nothing was selling. The last 2 weeks, the houses are flying off the shelves. It's crazy. And all of a sudden, we got multiple offers. There's bungalows that, last year couldn't even get 1.5 and now suddenly are getting 2 million. Like, it's just out of control. So you got to make sure, like, sometimes your micro market can be down to the street that you live on. It all
100%,
depends. So just
100%.
take these as like very high level market stats and then do your due diligence on where you specifically live.
Quick shameless plug: if you didn't hear our last week's episode, as a seller, if you're thinking about selling, we actually did a full blown out episode. We had no food or anything of that sort. We just was Alto and I educating sellers on how to sell their real estate, their home or their condo, without a real estate agent. Yes, we're real estate agents.
We're crazy like that.
We're crazy like that. We're different like that. We're misfits. I keep on using that word. And that's what actually makes us, that's the differentiator for us in the marketplace, is that we're going to lead with education, and we're not afraid of letting you know how to sell your own home. That was last week's episode. But as I bring that up, because as a seller, you how you find out value is to look at what comparables sell for. What did a comparable home to mine sell for very, very recent in today's market? Like, you can't go back 3 months, right? Also, you went really deep on that last week. Like, you can't go 3 months.
Yeah,
you might not even be able
anymore.
to go 3 weeks.
And it's funny because like last year I needed to go back like 180 days just to find a comparable sale in a specific market.
Yes.
Where this is like, go back 2 weeks and see on your street and then go a little bit wider. Like, you'll be surprised. Things are moving.
Okay, so I want to, just before we get into the actual numbers, I just want to talk about the market indicators. That's very important, because once we start to go through these stats and go through the regions and the cities, you eat out, so I'll go over this.
Yeah, you do this while I enjoy.
The markets indicators that you need to look at. Drop me in a village in India. Okay. Drop me in the village in the Philippines. And I see my boy Luke here coming in. And Luke, I was giving you a massive shout out, and so was Alto, because yourself and Ro picked up all this pizza and stuff like that. Very much appreciated, buddy. Here's what you want to look for. Doesn't matter what country you're in, what city you're in. Here's the market indicators. I'll always be able to determine what, if you, as a viewer or listener, ask for these indicators and find out these specific market indicators, you'll know exactly what's happening in the marketplace. Okay. First and foremost, okay, the most important indicator is, what is the months of inventory? What does that mean? Months of inventory is, we look at all the properties for sale right now on the market. Okay. If all the properties got sold based on last month's sales, okay, the previous month's sales, if no new person put up their home or condo for sale, how much months of inventory do you have? And this is, I know why you're making that face. I look because
I'm looking at this page and I'm like,
that doesn't make sense. But yes, it does. It's months of inventory we always speak about.
Yeah, and we said last week in the episode that anything between 1 and 3 months is a seller's market, 3 and 6 months is a balanced market, and 6 months or higher is a buyer's market.
Yes. And on average, if you look at the last 40 years in the GTA, you're generally floating around, to give people context about where we're about to go today and the numbers you're about to hear. In the last 40 years, you're generally floating, okay, around a 2 to 4 month period. It's very rare is there a buyer's market in the GTA, okay? Very, very rare. You drive safe, okay, girl? Take care. Very rare will you see much higher than that. So let's just say on average, it's about 4 months of inventory, which tells us it's a balanced market. Okay. So right now, on average, in the GTA, the months of inventory.
I could put my pizza down for that.
Yeah. It's slightly over a week. It's slightly over.
This is what this means, isn't it?
That's exactly what that means. Okay.
0.08
Yeah,
months of inventory.
exactly. Okay. So
that's insane.
Insane. That
so if no new houses came on the market
in the GTA on average
in a week.
Yes, in a little over a week. Okay. A little over a week. What does that mean? Well, when people say why, like how are prices going up? Why do they continue to go up? One reason only: supply and demand. There is more people looking in the greater Toronto area. And we're going to go into the Bramptons and the Durhams and all of that. We're going to go into that, okay, as we have some more pizza. But in the GTA, it's because we have more buyers than actually people listing their homes, actually homes and condos for sale.
And I think right now we're calling this an early spring market. We're already seeing the effects of like what we say a spring market, because that's normally when people put their homes up for sale. There's a lot of buyers in the market. I think right now what we're seeing is people were probably waiting to put their homes up for sale. They didn't know that this was going to happen. And so there's been no inventory, but the buyers were there. I think in the next couple of weeks, there's going to, as soon as people see this, they're going to say, I should list my house for sale because this is great. So we'll see a little bit more supply, but I don't think it's going to make that much of an impact. But
it'll be interesting. You're right, Laura. It's going to be, I mean, look, we don't have the crystal balls. We've been saying this for 16 years. We kind of look at history to be our teacher for the future. That's kind of how we base our forecast. One of the main reasons, though, if people are like, well, the borders are closed. It's not like we have people coming in. True, that's right. But the interest rates are so low. You can lock in an interest rate right now for 5 years. Okay. For 5 years at like 1.7%.
That. And I think that people, they talked a lot about how a lot of the jobs that were lost were unfortunately sort of lower level jobs, people who didn't necessarily make as much money. Whereas people in the white collar positions, office jobs, they kept their jobs. And so right now they've saved a lot of money over the last year. They had nothing to spend their money on. And I think a lot of people, they've been living in their home for a year. They have money and they're like, I'm going to upgrade. Like it's time to get a bigger house, or it's time to make a move or invest.
Yes. Or let me get into a smaller home. Let me get, it's empty nesters, right? I mean, in the GTA, there's a lot of pockets in the greater Toronto area that where you have baby boomers who the kids are gone. Like they're not in the house anymore. They're downsizing, right? So that's why you're seeing a shift. But I mean, to have interest rates at 1.7% for 5 years, and I'm sure somebody will quote me or correct me if I'm wrong. Like you can probably even get it lower, Jazz. That's for a 5-year fixed rate. Where back my first home I bought in 2006, and my interest rate on that was just to give people context, 4.5% for 5 years. 2006, what is that? 12, 14 years ago, right? 15 crazy, actually, to be almost. It'll be 15 March 30th. I moved in.
So exactly,
okay? Yeah. So exactly, okay, 15 years ago. Wow, it's crazy. 4.5%. No exaggeration, Laura. Walked out of that bank with my brother because they bought a house as well together, and we thought we robbed the bank. We were like,
this is incredible.
4.5%.
We're comparing this to what our parents paid on interest rates,
our parents were up at like 11 and 12, and my dad, I think, at one point was 17, 18%. But on average back then, like that was 2006. In 2003, 2004, when I just got into the business in 2003, we were looking at like it was probably about 5.5%. That's kind of what the mortgage rate. I think when I got into the business at 2004, I believe end of 2004, there might have been like 6% still kind of floating around. Here's the funny thing that's going to happen. Mark my words. Mortgage rates are going to go up because they can't go down anymore. They're going to go up, but they're going to go up to 2%, and people are going to be like, oh my God, what do we do?
This is crazy. I'm going to tell them. That's still so cheap.
I'm going to say throw a party. Who gives a crap? It's not much. It's not a big difference. What else do you want to look at when you're looking at market indicators is days on market. Excuse me. What's the average days that properties are staying on the market? Because from a seller's perspective, you need to know, like if I put my home on the market, how long should I expect before I get an offer and it actually gets sold? As a buyer, you want to know the average
How much?
days on
Yeah, you got to know how much time you got.
right.
Like,
How much
am
time
I
you
should I
got?
be shopping today? Like, if I like that house, do I have time to go back in a week to see it? No, probably you don't, because
Exactly.
the average days on market in the all of GTA is 18 days, which is down 14%
Compared to
last year.
compared to last year. And then the other number you want to look at, very macro high level, is the average. The average price point. So right now in the Greater Toronto area, we just crossed over
Broke
$1 million. We
$1 million.
broke
Woo!
$1
Some
million. Okay,
parties!
we broke $1 million.
If you're a seller, that is.
But here's the big thing: when you compare it to 2020 March to February, because this is the actual end of the numbers for the end of February, 15%. In the height of a pandemic, in the height of a lockdown,
scary again, aren't
we're
we?
getting kind of scary, and
Like, we saw this in late 2016, early 2017, but then the government intervened and kind of cooled the market down. But these numbers look very familiar to me, but circa that time.
So I think, I mean, Nikki, you can clip this as well. Here's my forecast. There will be, I mean, this is the time we're recording, March 9th. There will be government intervention coming very soon. Within the next month, 2 months max, the government is going to come out with a new regulation or a new policy, because they're going to try to cool the market down. I get it. Really truly is a band-aid effect, though, because in the GTA,
well, all the previous things that they've
regulations
implemented have been band-aids. So maybe they'll come up with something different.
Well,
maybe the interest rates will kind of adjust itself, because, you know, we've been hearing a lot about interest rates going up. That might just be all it takes. We'll see, but I kind of doubt it.
But you know what it is also? I think what needs to be done is that the government's always focusing on the demand side of the equation.
How to cool the buyers down.
How to cool the buyers down. You got to figure out the inventory. This is the problem here.
Well, and the buyers, that's the best part. Like, we want immigration. We want there to be buyers. We want people to be moving into the city. So to then try and cool the demand of that, I find a little odd.
Well, here's the problem. It's the supply, I'm saying. Let's just look at real numbers. In the GTA, okay, in the month of, this is the month of February, okay, 2021, 8,700 listings. In 2020, 8,800 listings. In 2019, 13,200 listings. You can see how the supply is going down, the demand's high, and that's why the values continue to go up. Make sense?
Awesome. We're moving on, and we're going to start a new pizza.
We're going to start a new pizza. I know how hungry you are. Let's continue to the next one. And then after that, we're going to talk about Durham specifically. Make sure you just wait till we go through what pizza, where this pizza's from, and you tell the backstory, Laura.
Okay, well, this is from Terroni. So most people have probably heard of Terroni's.
There's a few Terroni's in the city.
I think 3 in the city.
Love the
restaurant.
Go
to Summerhill, Summerhill Terroni's often.
There's one on Adelaide patio. I've been on. I think in the financial
there's
district.
One on Adelaide as well, and Queen Street. But there's 2 right down there.
Got it.
But the Summerhill one, if you can get there in the summer on the rooftop patio,
knock on wood that we're back open.
I actually went there during like
the semi-lockdown,
semi-open.
Got it.
And it was great. So that's where this pizza's from.
Okay.
It's a spicy sopressata pizza.
I love it.
And we have like extra spices. So
I always have a problem saying sopressata, so I love the pizza.
I'll let you dress your own there.
I appreciate that,
You can take
Laura.
the plate this time.
All right. Gracias.
It's a little cold now, but I still like cold pizza.
I don't mind it. It's not freezing cold. It's not the day after.
So this one less crusty, right? A little floppier, more of a Neapolitan style pizza, if you will.
Much more floppy, 100%. I gotta say the crust on the makers. Oh, those are some nice chili peppers. I like the crust better, but I don't mind how thin this is, though. Between the two, where are you going?
This to me is like a good pizza when you're out and about. You're on a patio, like I said. You have a bottle of wine. This isn't necessarily like takeout pizza.
Agreed.
This is fancy pizza for fancy people.
Yeah. Still not bad, but I'm gonna stick with makers.
Yep, me too.
Yourself?
Me too.
Okay.
Okay.
Durham. Go.
Okay, so Durham. Look at this. Half a month. We're just over half a month of inventory at 0.58. 9 days on market here. Look at this. This is down 60% from last year.
60% average days on market. Yeah. So why? Right. Oh, sorry. Why don't you? I'll talk about and why, in my opinion, why that's happening. Why we're actually seeing less days on market.
Mhm.
Why don't you, Laura, talk about the average sale price?
Yeah, so this average sale price is up 35% from last year
Yeah.
to $889,000. We're
Say that
talking
again, because
Durham.
I don't think people caught the how much
Durham
percentage.
region.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what's considered Durham.
You got
Ajax,
Ajax,
Oshawa,
Whitby, Oshawa, Bowmanville.
889,000, which is up 35% from last year.
Yeah, so
35%.
That's scary, right? To me, anyways, because whatever goes up that fast generally at some point has to come down. How do I think it's going to come down? It's going to be some type of government regulation. By how much, I can't tell you. That I don't know. I'm not Nostradamus. But to have an $890,000 average price and it gone up 35%, there's one reason. And the reason is you, as a home buyer, you have average prices in the greater Toronto area, and we're going to talk about specifically in Toronto, where they're nearing $1 million. You have to drive till you qualify. So what do? You start to go into the outskirts. Hence why you're seeing an increase of 35%. Half a month's of inventory, 9 days on market.
Yeah.
Like a seller is putting their home up on the market, and within 9 days, on average, they're selling. And here's the other interesting part about Durham. Number of actual sales is 2,000 homes sold, which is also up 37%.
But active listings was down 22%. So pretty much everything sold.
Everything sold. And that's why you have 9 days on the market average, right? And that's
It's interesting.
I
think we're still having some COVID effect where people still are looking for more space. So it's not just the drive to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
And although we are seeing like a resurgence of people coming back down into Toronto, I mean, there's been lots of news stories about this. I still think some people last month were like, I just need more space. So I need to move out to these areas where I can get a townhouse instead of a condo in the sky, right?
Yep. Laura, I want to jump straight to, let's go west. Because when we talk about North York, I'm actually just going to, we'll talk about Toronto, but we'll leave Toronto. Let's go over to Brampton, my neck of the woods. B-Town, where you're born and raised as well. Let's talk about Brampton. Very interesting, very similar to Durham in terms of what's going on. Again, to Laura's point, I think you're bang on, Laura. Like, you're still seeing some, I don't know if you're calling them like post-lockdown effects, because we're still obviously in it, but you're still seeing what we were hearing and watching a lot of last year, which was people wanting to leave the city and get outside for more space. But as more people did that, this is what started to happen. We already heard what happened in Durham. Here's what happened in Brampton. Average sale price, slightly under $1 million, 990.
You guys are going to get there next month, I feel.
100. Well, the way that they're way that Brampton's trending at $996,000 average price, we're seeing we saw a 24% increase compared to last year. Average days on market is 8 days, and months of inventory is just under 3 weeks right now. So if nobody put up a home or condo for sale in Brampton, and that's all types, condos, townhomes, semi-detached and detached homes, you would have less than 3 weeks of inventory left. That's in Brampton. Like, look, I mean, I live there. It's amazing, in my opinion, for amenities, rental properties. You have a lot going on in Brampton, specifically the rental properties I spoke about, because there's a lot of secondary apartments in a lot of areas in Brampton, and so you see why people made the shift up there. However, I've never seen less than 3 weeks of inventory and almost $1 million.
All I can say is I wish my parents kept their Brampton.
Do you remember
house.
what your house sold, like what you guys sold for?
I don't really, but it would have been in and around 2002. Yeah. I'm gonna say 350 maybe.
Wow, so it's tripled. It's tripled in 15 years. No, a little bit more than that. Sorry. 19 years. It's tripled in.
And we always say real estate doubles every 10 years in the GTA.
Yeah. So you're right there. You're right there. Number of sales was 1,800, a little over 1,800 sales. Let's go next door to Mississauga, and then we'll take another bite because this one's a little different.
Now, this is interesting. The average sale price a little bit less than we had in Brampton at $952,000. months of inventory. Now, really, 3 months of inventory or 3 weeks of inventory here. 17 days on market, so that it's not telling the same, like similar story, but just not as.
Did you talk about the average price here at 952?
I did.
You mentioned that. Okay,
up 12%.
Now, there's a lot of condos in Mississauga as well, which brings down the average price. You might think to yourself, well, how does Mississauga have a lower average price than Brampton? Well, Brampton doesn't have as many condos as Mississauga does. So remember, we said the word average. So be careful, guys, when you're reading an article or you're listening to a podcast, like even this, I want you to really just understand that when a word like the average price in Canada has gone up, gone down, whatever it is, that's the average. That's taking the highest prices, highest price markets of Toronto and Vancouver, and also looking at prices in the lower end of the market. So you got to make sure that you understand that wherever you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing, please get the numbers for that specific micro market. But when you talk about the condos in Mississauga, and we're going to do this for Toronto as well, because I think it's very important, you're starting to see a price increase. Now, what do I mean by that? We've been seeing negative numbers in the condo market in both Mississauga and specifically Toronto. In Mississauga, compared to February of 2020. So in February 2021, we saw a 1.4% increase in average sale prices, which is interesting because now we're seeing that rebound, right? Like you don't have as much of an opportunity. We were getting loud about this a couple of months ago, saying that real estate condos have in the GTA have gone on sale,
and we were like, pick them up,
pick them up. And now people made the shift and they got into them. So that's Mississauga. Why don't we try another pizza slice? The next one.
Okay. So first of all, I wanted to give a shout out to my boy Gabe. He
avid listener of the podcast.
I met this guy in my MBA at Schulich. And he gave me some options. One of them was called Descendants. I have been to Descendants. It's a Detroit style pizza. If you don't know what Detroit style pizza is, it's similar to Chicago style, but it's not Chicago style pizza. And this place is in Leslieville. It's incredible. We tried to get it.
It's just closed today.
We tried. Yeah, it's closed. I think Mondays and Tuesdays right now. And I was like, no, because that would have been so good.
Well, how about
Shout
this?
out to Gabe. So we couldn't get that.
Well, not only is Gabe a friend of yours and an avid podcast listener, he's also a client of ours. And so once this all opens up, Gabe, you're going to come back. You sat here with us here,
yes,
Gabe.
We did,
we haven't forgot that. And we're going to have Descendants, us three. We're going to sit down, have a pizza. If whatever your vice is, beer, wine, H2O, whatever it is, because we owe you that. We couldn't get to it today.
So instead, we're doing Pizzeria Libretto. Is what it's called. So this one's a very well known. This is to me is like the competition to Terroni's. It's either like you're a Libretto person or you're a Terroni's person. Today we got their fungi pizza.
There's Librettos all over the city.
There are. Like in downtown. One in Danforth, one in Ossington, actually. Very, very close to this place where we got this beer, which is called the 12 Wall. The beer represents the fact that there was a beer store at Ossington and Dundas. Yeah. And that's right on the corner. That's where this condo project is called the 1200. It's just up the street from where Libretto is.
Right.
I have been to both spots. I think what we're learning here is I'm a pizza person. Because I've been to all the places.
Is that you eat a lot. That's what we're learning here.
As I'm Let's try beer, this. Yeah. So I don't know. It came with this, so I'm just gonna like go full tilt.
Do it up.
I'm gonna take this little guy.
I want to actually do Oakville.
I'll let you make your own there.
And thank you.
So this is our vegetarian pizza for the day.
A little fungi action.
Ooh, I'm dripping here.
Is it fungi or fungi?
Fungi. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, delicious.
I love a fungi.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm not just saying because it's the most recent one. This is so far the best.
Parmesan or something else? What is that cheese? We're not very good because we didn't get any of the details.
Yeah, we tried. We're busy.
So we don't know what we're eating. We just know we like it.
Big shout out to all of our clients. We just finished a condo launch in Hamilton. 20 or 21 of our clients just got into the project. Congratulations to everyone who got into that project at first access pricing. And if you're ever thinking about investing into a pre-construction, you always, I don't care if you do it with us, you don't do it with us, wherever you do it, with your cousin Charlie, your aunt Laura, it doesn't matter, whoever you do it with, Tanta Laura, whoever you do it with, you need to make sure that you always get it at first access. I love this pizza.
That's wood oven.
That is delicious.
Neapolitan style, right? What's not to like?
Yeah, 100%. Okay.
So is that your favorite now?
So 100%. Your sorry, Lord, go.
Yeah. Like to me, I like like this might not be simple. This is like a luxe pizza as well. Like this is luxe, like it's luxurious. Yeah, this is fancy stuff. I feel like I could eat champagne with this pizza.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'll enjoy my beer with it. But it's delicious. Wow. So is this the best so far? Where are you at now?
They're so different. This is nothing like Maker's Pizza.
Yeah, like after this is done, this podcast,
what am I gonna have another slice of?
Exactly. So far.
So I'm a moody pizza person. Like, am I feeling like being fat in my pajamas while like binging Netflix and binging pizza? Because then I'm going Makers all day. But am I out with my friends enjoying myself? Then I'm funky.
Well, you're not
maybe I have a little Negroni with 100%. It.
Oh, I love myself a Negroni. Big shout out to Fabrica, who makes a great pizza down here in our head office that shops at Don Mills, but also
they're not open.
They're not open, but they make an amazing Negronis. I love that place. Okay, let's do Oakville, girl. Oakville. For anyone who's outside of the GTA, it is it has some of the best school districts. Has, on the south side of Oakville, you're very close to the lake. Newer homes in the northern part of Oakville, you're going to get a lot of newer homes. The last, call it 12 to 15 years, a lot of the subdivisions that were built there. Again, as I mentioned, a lot of amenities. Average price point, bigger homes, right? Average price point is over $1.4 million. Now, interesting, right? As I say 1.4, you do your whistle. You'll notice that the months of inventory is higher.
Kind of makes sense.
It kind of makes sense. It's a different market.
Yeah, this is not necessarily a home purchase that you're making as fast. We're in a different bracket here.
Yeah.
People are taking their time a little bit more and probably need to secure financing. Like that's a bigger deal for
they
people.
Need to sell their home.
They need to
sell their home as well. There's a lot of stuff that's included there. So months of inventory is 1.37 months of inventory. So call it a month and approximately a little over a week. Only number of sales really low. Only about 700 homes were sold in the month of February in all of Oakville, and all types of homes. And the average days on market, again, because the price point, you're looking at 15 days. The 1.4 million, really quickly though, was up 24% compared to last year.
Incredible.
And we're gonna end it off in Toronto. Let's have another slice. Let's have another slice.
Whoa, you're really rushing the slices here today.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, let's do it. I'll just pick away at these later.
Are you sure? Well, you're saving them, but you can tell who's the big one.
Oh, that's.
Like, I cut them really small, but
really small. He says really small. Okay.
This slice one is not. That's not actually two slices. That was actually one slice.
The only place on the list I have not been. Okay. It's called north of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And my friend who lives actually very close to me here and has a beautiful little lab fur baby as well. So we have that in common. Natalie Addison, she said, try this place. It's called North of Brooklyn. This is the Killer Bee Pizza. So it's on Queen West. I've never been there. Like I said, I'm not sure. This I thought was interesting. Owned by two guys from Halifax. So I don't know what it is about the East Coast.
Amazing pizza.
East Coast produce pizza makers?
Yeah, I don't know. Nikki, you know anything about that? Well, no, this is like Halifax slice. Halifax, like the guy, but three of the guys that from these pizza places are all from Halifax. Just into maybe it's just a little quick. Got it.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Okay, so Josh Spatz and Alex Potter. So Alex Potter actually was the chef at Pizzeria Libretto,
which we had
previously.
Already.
So now it's like, ooh, which one do we like better? I love a good competition. And then another one of the owners is Frank Pinello, and he's a New Yorker. So
Well, there you
That's
go.
where we get north of Brooklyn
And
from.
that's where you get the name from. All right.
This is apparently, it's supposed to be a high-end takeout pizza.
Okay,
so there's only
cheers.
12
This is our
seats
last one.
in the restaurant.
Right. Oh, there's only 12 seats in the restaurant.
Yeah, so it's more of a takeout place, but
And you
it's
said
very fancy. Queen West.
Okay. First take. What's your thought process there?
It's good. It's just so different than the last one. So I love it. I took a massive bite of an jalapeno.
Yeah,
So it's spicy. It's
Uh-huh.
delicious. I don't think it's my favorite though.
I really like the sauce in this.
There's a little sweetness to it though.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
Oh, you know what? I think the onions, what did I hear? They were like glazed onions or something.
Yeah. For me, it's the fungi, whatever you call it. That's still number one, but this is number two for me.
Wow.
That's a good pizza. That's actually a delicious.
You know what? I'm eating my second bite. I feel like there's honey on there. That maybe some sweetness. It's called Killer Bee though.
Has to be honey.
Oh. Wow. Yeah. Sometimes the blonde just like seeps into my brain.
Everyone here is used to it. Nikki is, Steven
that was
is.
Right over my head. So, okay, I get it. The spicy and the sweet. Wow. I've only had like 2 sips of my beer.
I don't think I've ever had honey on pizza before.
Oh, Jazz.
No.
I feel bad for you sometimes. I worry about you.
Look, growing up, we had pizza. And we had an expensive night in the Takhar household back then was Pizza Nova. And all these four that we're talking about right now is definitely, I mean, this is real pizza. All four of them were delicious. Big shout out to all the pizza makers, no pun intended, because I think one of them were called pizza makers, right? Makers Pizza. Just delicious. So if you're watching, you're listening, I hope you enjoyed the fact that we were trying to support local businesses here. And if you can do your part, not to say that you have to order every single day out, but if you can maybe order out 1 week, support a local business, just help someone else get through this tough time. We're almost through it. I don't know why I say that, but there is
hope in the air. I feel like we've noticed that.
We've noticed that. I mean, we noticed the consumer confidence, not only with real estate, but just with I was speaking to my brother who's in the car business, and he was telling me what's been going on there. He works at Toyota, runs a Toyota dealership actually, and was just telling me the amount of people, that not only are coming in for service, but that are actually purchasing new cars, used cars. So, I mean, the dollar's moving on the high end, as we can tell, meaning with higher end purchasers, real estate and cars, but we need to keep the dollar moving on the lower end as well to local businesses, guys and gals that need it most. Let's finish off with Toronto.
I threw it away.
It's all good. You finish your food. I got you.
No. I got it.
Okay. Toronto. Average sale price right now down by 0.6% to $941,000. You might ask yourself, how is that possible? How is everyone seeing double digits and some into the mid to high 30s in increases, and Toronto is seeing a negative number? I'll tell you why.
Yeah. So, last January was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
The market was on fire. Last year, January and February of last year, we were like, oh man, this is going to be a crazy spring market here in Toronto.
Yeah.
Right. So things were doing really, really well. And we're comparing now, still in a pandemic, to that time. And again, like everything we've mentioned, people moving out of the city, people wanting more space. So it's still taking a hit. I'm actually surprised that's not bigger. It looks like it is rebounding.
And you know, the funny thing is that if you look at the other massive market indicator that we speak about, which is months of inventory, you're still under a month. You're still under a month of inventory, which is a very strong seller's market. Doesn't bode well for first-time home buyers, but you have a little bit more time as a first-time home buyer, and you need to know as a seller, because the average days on market is 24 days to be exact. We saw 6,400 sales, which is up by 57% compared to the same time last year. Not surprising there. because February is one of the slowest months, generally speaking, in the real estate market. This year's different, though, right? This year, people are trying to get moving in Toronto. I mean, Toronto, if you look at what is considered Toronto, well, right up into Pickering, right over to Highway 427 on the west side, right up to Steeles on the north side, and then down to the lake. It's not broken up like it used to. Like Scarborough's still considered Toronto. North York is still considered Toronto, right? And so that's why you're starting to see the numbers creep up again. Here's an interesting point that I want to make sure that I cover as well is the condo market. So in August, September of 2020, we saw prices dip in the condo market, specifically in downtown Toronto, by approximately 10%. It was about 9.8%. Where we sit right now, early March is minus 6%. What does that tell us? That the rebound is happening. So when people ask, like, have we hit rock bottom? Well, chances are, from just what the numbers tell us, you hit rock bottom, and now you're starting to come back up again. But that still smells like an opportunity, the way that I see it, because you're still 6% less than what you were pre-COVID last year. You're looking at my sweater, and I did not spill any hot sauce on me or any pizza sauce.
I didn't either.
Okay. And so there's still an opportunity. Elto, I think we can end it off right there, girl. I mean, we went through the whole city. We went through all of GTA. We tried all the pizzas.
It tells a very similar story. Pizza's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the story across the board. Because I would eat any of those pizzas in all honesty
100%.
any given day.
I'm going to have some more fungi.
Yeah.
Fungi. Yeah.
And the market, it's on the rebound. And in some cases, it's insane.
It's still insane. And always, I mean, you've heard us say this over and over again. Make sure that you always look at the micro market, because the amount of times I've heard clients in the last 16 years make the mistake of either rushing too quickly to purchase something because they heard that the values were increasing too fast because they were looking at macro markets, or they held off too long because the same reason they were looking at macro numbers, reading headlines. I hope what the value that you got out of today's podcast was not only talking about the pizzas, but was the fact that we actually went through the micro markets. If you would like a copy of any of these market stats that we were reading off of, very easy to get. All you need to do is text stats to 647-372 0126. And Luke, is that set up? Maybe you can, buddy. I love you. Thank you. Text stats to 647-372-0126, and you'll automatically get all these stats. And if you're outside the province and you're listening and saying, I would love to get the stats in a specific area in Vancouver or Saskatchewan or Alberta, just shoot me an email. Just shoot a quick email to info@jazztakhar.ca. That's info@jazztakhar.ca, and I'll make sure my team gets to you in terms of all the stats. Elto, what's up? We good, girl?
I just want to make sure. So the fungi's number one for you.
For Jazz, the fungi's number one. Where was that from again? I apologize. I forget.
The fungi was from Libretto. So
okay, Libretto.
I know the chef left, and now they got the best fungi pizza.
They still got the fungi best.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling super dirty today, but like I'm all for this maker pizza.
Interesting.
That was so good, and that was the first one.
And you know, unfortunately for them, from my standpoint, that was the first one I had. I was really hungry because I haven't eaten since
I've had other of their pizzas, and you can
all like that, Laura?
Like they're same thickness and everything, but insane, just really good stuff.
So just quickly rhyme off the four in case somebody missed it. I want them to be able to Google these people, try them out, and if they haven't, I want them to try these pizzas out.
So Maker Pizza, Terroni's, Pizzeria Libretto, and Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
North of Brooklyn.
North of Brooklyn. They weren't that much more expensive than any of the others, but I
wouldn't know. Jazz paid.
Yeah. I don't even pay. I think Luke paid this time. I'm sure he used my wallet. To everybody who's watching and listening, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alto, thank you for everything you do as well.
Cheers.